The coming of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the powerful presentation in USA that changed everything. This powerful international presentation is a game changer for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. After watching this, you will understand the reason we want freedom of our people, and the reasons why our great leader Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is seeking and fighting for the freedom of his people. God bless our great leader, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and bless those who made this presentation possible on a global stage.
Nigeria import terrorists from all over the world. Right now, there are more than 5 terrorist groups that operate in the country today. Ansaru is in Nigeria. El-Shabaab is in Nigeria. Mieti Allah operates in Nigeria. Fulani bandits operate in Nigeria. Fulani herders that have been named the 4th deadliest terrorist group in the world by the Global Terrorist Watch of West Africa. These terrorist groups operate in Nigeria, and the government of Nigeria provides an enabling environment for them to thrive, for them to do their bidding. They provide them with logistics, money, arms, and then they send them to the eastern region of Nigeria to kill my people and to destabilize the region. That is their goal. And that's exactly what they're doing now.
The government tried to kill Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and he survived and escaped. Navardi returned to Russia. He was immediately arrested and put in jail, solitary confinement. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was minding his own business in Kenya when he was illegally abducted, renditioned to Nigeria, and put in jail, solitary confinement. Same situation. Anybody that cares about democracy, the first thing that comes to mind is not to let Mazi Nnamdi Kanu fate become what we just saw. And that's what got me excited. We've been quietly trying to get a coalition of people to actually demand his release, but it's been difficult. But this particular example really made me realize that if anyone has anything that they can contribute towards this man's release, to do it now. Those of you who don't know about Mazi Kanu, I'm going to invite Ben to sort of give us a little glimpse as to who he is and why he's doing what he's doing and why all of us should demand collectively and individually for his immediate and unconditional release.
Well, today is a sad day in Nigeria because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu remains in solitary confinement. As of today, he has been in solitary confinement since June of 2021. Like Evans rightfully said, he was kidnapped from Kenya, minding his own business. But the fact is, this was not the first time he was kidnapped. He was first kidnapped in 2015 in Nigeria, and he was locked up for 2 years. And later on, he was released. And then there is a failed assassination of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in his own home in Abia State. And miraculously, he escaped that very assassination only by God's grace. So he's alive today. But I want everybody to know, any day Mazi Nnamdi Kanu remains in solitary confinement is another day of violation of his fundamental right as a human being, as a father, as a husband, and as a community leader. There is no reason why he should be in prison today, if not for the sake of others. He wasn't fighting for his own. He wasn't fighting for his family. He wasn't fighting in the name of the Kanu community. He was fighting for the interests of all. So I believe there's a video that we're going to show you so you can get a taste, a glimpse of some of the things that took place that really, made Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to come out in public and began to openly call for the freedom of our people. But before then, there's something happened. You're going to see a different Mazi Nnamdi Kanu back in 2013 in Europe. He wasn't campaigning for Biafra. He was not agitating for the freedom of Biafra. He was actually agitating for Nigeria to get better, for the government to take note of the suffering of the masses and do something. Do something so that everybody will benefit. With no mention of Biafra. Until Nigeria failed him, and it was crystal clear that this country is not going anywhere. They are not going to listen. They don't care about their people. Well, if you don't care about Nigerian citizens, I'm going to care about my people. That's when he began to talk about Biafra, to talk about separating from Nigeria, so that every region can develop, at their own pace. So you can make policy and rules that will benefit your people because you know your people. Because there's nothing that holding Nigeria together. It's three nations put together to be one nation, and nothing worked. Nothing ever worked, nothing is working, and it will never work. So I want to show that video while he was in London talking about the situation in Nigeria.
The reason why we're here today is to protest the killing of innocent women and children. Those of us in the UK are determined to work with the government for peace. We are determined to work with the international community for peace. But one thing we cannot stomach is a repeat of 1966. What is happening today in Nigeria was the reason why Nigeria fought a bitter civil war for 3 years between 1967 and 1970. If this continues, there will be another civil war in Nigeria. And this time around, no place will be safe in Nigeria. This time around, nobody will be safe in Nigeria. So it is imperative that everybody who has the interest of the country at heart acts now and immediately to stop this nonsense from continuing.
The Nigerian government has its own way of dealing with peaceful gatherings it doesn't like. The day began with a gathering of people come to pray for the release from prison of one of their leaders.
Provide us some evidence that IPOB's a terrorist group. More than 2 years later, still zero. You can't make free speech and freedom of association terrorism. Every single day that he languishes in that solitary confinement is another crime against humanity.
The protest that you saw, where you saw the army shooting people, innocent, unarmed citizens, that took place in 2016. Okay, our people came together, as they have done several years before, okay, to honor their fallen heroes, those that fell in the Biafran Nigerian Civil War of 1967 through 1970. So they gathered, this is a high school. They were not on the street protesting. No. They were not in front of the House of Assembly with placard protesting. No. They were not marching or causing insurrection anywhere. No. They were in a particular place. You have to go through a gate to come into the school premises. That's where they gathered. And that's where the combined forces of Nigerian Army, Air Force, Navy, DSS came in there, took a combat position on the ground, and opened a live ammunition. And at the end of the day, they murdered over 150 young men and women. 150 young men and women. And this was reported by Amnesty International. It was all over the globe. And to make matters worse, they took their body and dumped them in a mass grave where they poured acid on these children so they become unrecognizable.